Okay, so what we just talked about and learned is a very important fact about triangles. So I'm going to draw a triangle, one of many today. Ooh. And no particular triangle. I'm not saying that you have to make it look like mine, although you do want to label it the way I'm going to label it. I'm going to label it triangle ABC. I'll put A, a B on this vertex, and a C here. Okay? And let's go ahead and write down the important fact. So I want you to copy this. The sum of the angles, this is a symbol for angles, of any triangle is 180 degrees. And if you labeled your triangle ABC like I did, A, B, and C, put 3 loops on C, then this is true about that. The measurement of angle A plus the measurement of angle B plus the measurement of angle C equals 180. Okay, sorry, there it is. So go ahead and write that down. Let's move on. Okay, so let's do 4 problems together. They're going to get a little harder, not too bad. Okay, the first one is the most basic thing. We'll be doing several questions like this in today's work. Find the measure, copy this down, of angle Y. So we're going to make another drawing. Find the measurement of angle Y. Let me draw triangle. If you want to make it look like mine, that's fine. I'll try to be accurate. So I'm going to label the vertices again. X, Y, and Z. Okay? X, Y, Z. We're also I'm going to give you a couple of angle measurements inside. So angle X is going to be 60 degrees. Angle Z is going to be 40 degrees. And Y we don't know. We want to figure out why. So this angle Y is unknown to us. But using that property we just talked about, we can figure this out. So let's see. What can we do to possibly figure out why? Yes. Add 60 and 40 together. That's 100. And subtract that from 180. So 180 minus 100 gives us 80. And that's going to be the measurement of our angle. So the measurement of angle Y is 100 degrees. Okay? And that's our answer. Oh, what did I do? 80. Too much commotion today. I apologize. Let's make that 80 degrees. Better. Okay. All right. So let's move on to something. So today we'll do one assignment. The class assignment will be questions like this. Then we'll have an IXL that you'll do in class and finish up for homework maybe, where you have most of the questions like this, and then you'll have a little more challenging that I want you to know about. Okay? So let's take a look at those. I'm going to write the question here. Okay. Number 2. And it starts off an angle of a right triangle. You could just draw a triangle. An angle of a right triangle is 60 degrees. Okay? So they're giving us a statement. Then it says, what is the measure of the other acute angle? Okay, so write that down. An angle of a right triangle is 60 degrees. What is the measure of the other acute angle? So I want you to draw a right triangle. Everyone should know what a right triangle looks like, right? So here we go. So the important part is you have to make a right angle. So draw an angle like this, for example. Okay? So it says an angle of a right triangle, we have a right triangle, is 60 degrees. So one of our angles, let's say this one. Let's say that's 60 degrees. And it says, what is the measure of the other acute angle? So that would be here. Question mark. Okay? So it always helps when you make a drawing. They give you a word problem. Can you figure it out by making a quick drawing? Yes.
So 60 is a triangle, so probably that one's going to be 60 as well, since it's also
Maybe. Do we know the measurement of this one? 90. So now we could use what we learned earlier today, right? Now we could say, okay, let's add up 60 plus 90. Okay, 60 plus 90 to get the sum of those two angles. And that's going to be what? 150. And then subtract 150 away from 180. Okay, so 180. And that would give us how much? 30. And that's our answer. We could just answer this. What is the measure of the other acute angle? Uh, 30 degrees. Okay. There we are. Okay, I'll give you a second to finish. All right. Number 3. So, do you guys remember learning about angle classifications, angle type, triangle types, like scalene triangles? Do you remember that? Isosceles triangles. We're going to bring back isosceles. Okay? Isosceles triangles have two equal sides and two equal angles, two congruent angles, two congruent sides. Okay? Just keep that in mind. So here we go. And it has a funny spelling. Um, oh, it's O. An isosceles triangle. So isosceles triangle has an angle of 40 degrees. What are all possible angle measures? Okay, so there it is. Let me close the door. All right. So let's draw an isosceles triangle, okay? Um, so an isosceles triangle has two congruent sides, okay? So I'm going to make one look like this. Okay. And these two angles, or these two sides, are equal, or congruent. That means these two, we call them base angles, because they're at the bottom usually, are also congruent. So let's say, for example, one possibility is this is 40 degrees. Okay? Well, what does that mean for this angle? This is also 40. So this is one possibility. The two base angles that are equal are both 40. So I could just figure that out, right? So I'm going to go ahead and add them up and do 40 plus 40. That would be 80. Okay? And then just do what we've been doing. Subtract away the 80 from 180. And that would be 100. So now that tells us this angle up here has to be 100. Okay? So we got this possibility. You have two angles that are 40 degrees and one that's 100. Now, is that the only possible isosceles triangle that would work here? Where these are 240 and that's 100? Yes. Well, no, we have to have a 41 degree there. But you're on the right track. You're on the right track. What if, instead of this setup, we have 40 as the peak angle, this apex angle? Is that possible that the 40 degree angle could be up here? Yeah. Yeah, that could be 40. It would look a little different. I'll try to draw it for you. The other possibility is where the 40 degree angle is the one that's not congruent. So I'm going to try to draw that. Oops, I went too far. I better extend this one, sorry. So the other possibility is the 40 degree angle is this one. And these are still congruent. This is the other possibility. The 40 is this one, and these are the congruent angles. That's another one fitting our requirements. All right, here we go. So we know only one angle is 40, but we know these two are equal. How could we possibly find the measurements for this one? Yep.
Maybe the minus 40 from 180.
Okay. So let's do 180 degrees minus 40. Because that's all we have. And that would give us what, 140? But then we have to, what did you say? Divide this by 2. Because each of these has to be equal. You're dividing it equally by 2. And how many degrees is that? 70. So that means if this angle is 40, these two have to be 70. That's the other possibility. So now we can write our answer. We'll write our answer over here. Well, let's write down all the angles we see. Well, we see 40, right? Because we have to answer what are all possible angle measures. So we could have angles of 40 degrees. What else? 100. And then 70. Okay. So these are all possible answers. Just find which answers, unique answers we have. We have 40, we have 100, we have 70. So these are all the possible angles that would be answers for angle measurements on this. Okay? All right. One last question. And it has to do with isosceles triangles again. Okay, you guys ready? 10 seconds. Okay. So I'll let you write that down. An isosceles triangle has an angle of 100 degrees. What measures are possible for the other angle? I want you to think of, there's only going to be one way to draw this triangle. Yes.
So there's only one angle with it, or is it just like is it two of them?
Yeah, well, that brings up a good question. Can we have two angles of 100 in a triangle? What's 100 plus 100?
200. That's
200. Can we have a triangle with measurements of more than 200?
no.
They can't even be more than 100. I mean, it can't be more than 180, right? If you think of it, we've already got it. We've already drawn it. Yeah, look at this, guys. This is the situation. This is the only way to draw. This right here is the only way to draw an isosceles triangle with 100 degrees. Basically, this angle, right? It can't be more than, if it's 90 or more, think about it. You can't do this situation, right? It has to only be this. So if this is 90 or more, if it's 90 or more, it has to be only one situation, this one. So basically, our answer is already here. So the other angle has to be how many degrees?
40.
40. Okay? If it's a right angle or bigger, you can only do one type of drawing for that. Okay? So there you go. Okay, so we have our answers. We're going to move on to the sheet I gave you.